And I'm really happy to have you here, Konstantinos. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your experience. Thank you for the work you did on this process. And please let the audience know who is Konstantinos and what were you doing in this whole process.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for the warm welcome today. I'm Konstantinos, as you said, and I was the lead designer of the project. I designed early on all the UX, all the UI of the project. We sat together with the rest of the Dynargie team and we thought about lots of stuff regarding the user flows, the positioning of the site, the look and feel, everything that constitute a site before it's being, let's say, shipped to the developers to be, actual product, let's say, right?
Yeah, for the audience, for some of us, sometimes when we hear UX and UI, we might not understand what we're talking about. UX is the user experience, UI is the user interface. Just for people in the audience,
Correct.
but it's normal. We sometimes get to talk to this, and people are like, oh, what are they talking about? But yeah, it's really interesting because for me the one of the key elements in any site has to be how is it seen from the other side, because we sometimes get too involved in the process and we get everything that we forget about who actually is going to be using the site. So for me, your job is really important. What could you tell us about how do you did you sorry bring the human side of business of the energy into this human experience that we're trying to do in the UX?
So that is a very, very interesting question. And first of all, it all falls down to, as you said, the user experience. So when a user interacts with a brand, with a site, with it has a storefront, and the feeling that the user gets is very important. This is what constitutes an experience. An experience is a sum of multiple things: the interaction, the usability, the look and feel, and everything. Actually, working with Dynargie was a really fascinating experience for me. I felt incredible. What we did, it was actually deeply within the design thinking framework. We started early on with the discovery phase. And the discovery phase is a phase where we need to understand what the user's needs are and what the users want to see in the site to be the site, more effective. You understand? So we started with empathizing with the users. This is a critical aspect of the design thinking methodology and framework. Uh, we knew what our main target group was, like HR professional and business executives. So we had to map their challenges, their motivation, their emotional needs, and we did that actually even before the actual design, happens with interviews and workshops like internally. And this is not something that was done only by me; it was with a whole team, right? I don't want to take credit for marvelous things that the team of Dynargie already did before they, let's say, came to me and we started working together. So, following that step, we defined our core challenge, and the core challenge was creating an experience that was visibly an expression of Dynargie's commitment to the human side of business. Okay, and this is easier said than done because it would need to balance and jungle between this human side, but at the same time be practical enough for the busy senior professionals, right? So a top priority was ensuring that the UX felt warm, the user experience felt warm, personable, and we needed to align with that message. So tiny stuff, tiny elements inside the whole experience were introduced. And that also meant we use empathetic design choices, meaning, for example, a friendly language, two images of real people. A hero is the, when we say hero in the UI, it's the high level, let's say, image or video that when you open a site, you see it on top.
Like the first thing
So
you
from
see, right?
exactly, that's why we call it hero, right? And I'm saying this because of the terminology that you said. Sometimes people that hear us don't understand some of the terminology. That's why I'm going to a little bit of tiny technical details. And so from those images that look you in the eye to convey that human focus. But also, if you take one step further, you will see that for the busy professional, we prioritize a clear navigation. So you have the navigation on top and the whole menu is open. And we did that intentionally because we want to surface it on the menu that they can easily find solutions like, for example, training programs, consulting services, whatever they are relevant to the challenges that the user faces, right? And enter the site for that. So the experience had to be straightforward and intuitive, but at the same time, we needed to respect the busy schedules of our users. And you know what they say, and this is actually true, you have 3 seconds to impress and grab the user in your site. You don't have more. So you really need to do that very, very effectively, especially in our time where the information, flies by and the users like that. Right?
No,
And
and yes, I was
please,
going just to add on top of what you're saying. I was going to add that for me it was quite surprising to see the final product. We were all, as you said, all the Energy Network was involved during these 2 years, giving ideas, bringing ideas, then seeing something and giving our feedback, liking some more things, liking others, and then seeing the final result. I remember there was like some silence from bonding to the network, but because they were working a lot, so we didn't see nothing until we see almost the final product. And for me it was eye-opening. And what meant this for me, and it's not only a pun intended, because we have the eyes on the on the side. It was quite eye-opening because for me, one challenge that I was always thinking, how are they gonna solve, is that we in Dynargie are quite like mysterious with our products, and we don't put our products out there. And we like, I want them to go through the whole story. And when people, as you said, want to go to a site, they want to know how much is it, how do I pay, and that's it. They want 3 clicks and they want to be out of that site as soon as possible. But what you did, it's really interesting, because even though we don't have the products out there, we don't have the shopping cart or whatever like people are used to now, we have the story, and they have to go through their needs, and there's a whole story just by the clicks they're giving. So for me that was quite amazing what you did there, because it shows you something that it's not human. That is a site. It's like the furthest far away from a human interaction, but it's a human site. So for me that was amazing. Yeah.
and I will give you some background story here. In the ideation phase, there were so numerous solutions that we discussed. And yes, we were always prioritizing clarity, human connection, the global scalability, which is something that I didn't mention. It's a huge thing, and we should probably talk about that. But we actually discussed, and I could use the word, we argued creatively, though, on different solutions for many elements of the site itself. And for a for a for a partner, this is important. For me as a designer, it's important. It's not important to say, yes, sir, you want to do that, okay. It's, for me, it's important to push the team also forward, and to get together and try to find and push further to more to better solutions. You understand what I'm saying? So that was a big part of the process, and through the iterations that we did, the actual outcome became better and better and better as we went along. And it's funny that you mentioned about the cart, and that the user, you actually described the flow. And I don't know if I'm jumping, but I was thinking one of the main questions that we had when we initially sat together, and we said, okay, we're doing the site, but what is the one thing that the users would like to have in their mind after they walk away and they have navigated in the Dynargie site? And that was something that we initially, talked about. And, obviously, okay, whenever you ask, the easy answer that you will get for that question, it would be that any website should act as a funnel. Okay, yeah, we know that. Okay, but we wanted to, that would be very easy for us. That was the obvious answer. Okay, but at Dynargie, being a global brand, being something so unique, we wanted to set the bar higher. and because we could. And that's what we did eventually. We wanted to create an experience. So after navigating the site, we wanted to perceive Dynargie's genuinely empathy and strategic expertise and the human-centered design approach that has on its core and on the processes and on the services that Dynargie offers. And we leverage the design thinking process through empathy and ideation phase. And believe me, we iterate and we ask users and we ask clients about the initial designs and the information structure, and we iterate, as I said earlier. And we wanted to ensure that the visitors will understand the value proposition, but also feel connected emotionally and also be inspired, you understand?
Yeah, one two things I do take from this, and the first one I would like to ask you in this, because you said there's a lot of process there, talking to clients, going back and forward with energy, discussing, even arguing, not in the negative way, but as you said, like putting really different ideas to find the best one, to or even to create a new one. Uh, what would you say? There's one, like something that probably the user will see and say that, oh, that looks simple, that looks easy, or something like that, probably helps us also in the simplicity of the site, but that has all these deep meaningful conversations, discussions behind, like what were some kind of key decisions you made to make it simple for the user, but that have a deep meaning behind, or a deep discussion
Mm.
behind?
Yeah, yeah, I know. I would say the global consistency while maintaining local flexibility. That would be my answer. So there was a big challenge. And to give a full context here, we have the global Dynargie site, but at the same time, we have local site, okay? Local sites. So in the context of, we all know, think globally and act locally, the design had to be able to work in continuity and consistency across 13 plus countries with multiple languages, like even from right to left reading for Arabic. Okay, so that was a challenge also for the technical aspects of the design. It's not only about the business needs and the business challenges that this creates, but I'm talking about the actual challenges of the actual hard skills that the design needs to support. So I would say that that was one of a big challenge that we tackled, and that is one of the things that really stood out. And we managed to create a sense of being the same, but also have their own personality by tiny stuff that we changed. And the other thing, as I speak to you, and you know, and as I reflect now on the choice that we made, is the strategically choice of presenting not an about us page, but the actual people of Dynargie. So if you go to other competitors or something like that, you don't see the people working. But in the end of the day, people connect with people, right? They don't connect only with just, I mean, okay, they connect with brand, but they don't connect only with brand, especially on the industry of Dynargie operates. So people is the essence. It's one of the most important elements of any company. And this is what we try to surface. And we did it very effectively, I think, by having each person of Dynargie's team have their own like landing page internally and surfacing the skills of the person itself. So it's something that you don't see every day out there, right? It's something super unique.
Yeah, and actually, it was funny because I said I was going to mention two things, but you answered with your answer. My second thing, and that was the global challenge, because we all know that there are different, even users are different in the different areas. So even I know there's a normal global, some the humans have some global characteristics, but there are really specific for the side, even in marketing, even in how they perceive the things, how they buy things, how they, and for me, this is what, oh, another really important thing you did, and you just mentioned it, is how do you make, because this, just for the people also in the audience, a little bit of background that probably you get it from the video, but if you have not got it yet, is that Dynargie did a big effort on the positioning. The site is the result of a big effort of 2 years, 3 years, building the new positioning. So this new positioning had to do a lot with the global importance of Dynargie, with the global aspect of it. We were working only as locals in each in their country, being a big network, but only as locals. So having this challenge internally in Dynargie, it's really important that you were able to put it digitally also. So for me, that was also quite amazing of what you did in your job during this whole process.
Yes, yes. Thank you for saying that. But I have to say it's always a collective effort. I cannot take credit for something I didn't do it my own, because I have to mention how the flow of the information and the communication, how effective it was. And let me take a step back here and say something that you can even like take it as from my 10 years experience across working on digital products. Okay, every successful digital product I delivered, everyone, was based on very good communication inside the team. If the team didn't have very good communication, chemistry, working together, the human side of business, as we say, the outcome was lacking quality. This is what I keep, that through our cooperation and working together, we actually did even this challenge that required planning for multilingual content, cultural nuances. We planned it early on, and it was not about dictating solution. It was about falling in love with the problem and not the solution, and trying to find a way to solve the problem. So we iterated and we moved there. And when you are talking with multicultural and multi-region brands like Dynargie, right? You pointed very well. You should be very careful. So the UI should be very careful and well balanced, because you don't want to not offend, but I hope you understand the meaning of the word that I'm using. Every local cultural nuances, right? So you have to be very careful, and the UI should be adaptable. That's why, from a technical perspective, a design system was built. So a design system, for the people who are not so technical, is imagine a set of Legos. Okay, imagine like Legos that you have small elements, tiny stuff that you build them together, and you end of the day you create screens and templates of screens, all that stuff stuck together. And actually this thing that's called design system helps also the developers to write code and scale it better. So back to what I was saying earlier, is that building a design system that could adapt across the multi-region space was also challenging for the hard skills of me as a designer, but I really enjoyed the process. It was really fun doing it, and it was great.
When was that like aha moment when you saw everything coming together? Because we know that these processes sometimes are like, you think you're already done, and then something brings you 10 steps back, and then you go again. And when was this aha moment that you said, oh, now everything is coming together, now we have something, we're on the right track?
I think the first time when I saw the prototype, because we had this interactions together, we were talking, we were thinking about stuff, we were synthesizing the pages and the templates. At some point, everything should be connected with a prototype. And I'm talking about the prototype that you probably also seen internally, a while back. So when we created the prototype and you will start seeing the live thing and the images coming together, and how the video interacted with with the content and the colors and the transitions, and feeling that the human aspect of that, the design stops being a drawing, if I can use that word, but it becomes an actual product. And that's, for me, that was the aha moment.
Perfect. And just for us to conclude a little bit about this process, I would like, you mentioned already part of the great collaboration that there was on in whole this process with Dynargie, the constant communication. Apart from that communication, is there something else you really enjoyed about working with Dynargie? Something that Dynargie does different, or is it mostly on this conversations, communication side of it? Or even about the company, if you can even answer about, like, there's something about Dynargie.
Yeah, I can tell you, it's very rare that you can see people so successful, but at the same time so humble to accept and change their mind and be open-minded and change and adapt to, to ideas that are being brought to the table, and not being like blinded from the success that they're already having. This is something that you don't see every day, and I fell in love with that, cooperation that we had, and the whole process, because the team was already expert on the design thinking, they understood the terminology, so they understood a lot of stuff. So it was so easy communicating, and you were me as a designer. I was, you always need two to tango. This is what they say. Like I play tennis. Okay, I play a lot of tennis. I love playing tennis. But in order to play good tennis, you need to have a good opponent, right? So you need to send the ball and get it back to you, and again and again. This is what was happening. That was, the outcome, and I was amazed by that. It is a brilliant team. It is a brilliant team. I was very lucky, and I am very lucky to have worked on that project. And I don't know. I'm praised for that. Very enthusiastic about it.
I can tell you we are happy to be working with you also. One last question. One curiosity I just discovered. Did you know Dynargie before working in this project with us?
In fact, yes, I have worked in other projects in Dynargie, in the learning platform that you have. So I had, well, to be honest, I knew Dynargie as an attendee on seminars,
Okay,
like
perfect.
even way back. Okay, so Dynargie was not something that I met over the course of this project, but over the course of this project, I learned Dynargie core values and principles, and it took me to a next level. Through this project, I also became a better designer because I had the opportunity of talking with people that, as I said, I was giving and I was taking at the same time. So I became a better designer. And that is, for me, that's one of the most important things working a project.
Well, Konstantinos, I'm not sure. I don't know if you want to add anything else, something you want to say, even in your own to the audience. Any tip, any thing you want to say? It's your space now to talk to the audience.
And I would like to thank you once more for the opportunity, Mike, for me having you here. I'm very honored to, to give me the time to express my view of this project. And I really hope our viewers to go to the site to experience it and enjoy it as much as we enjoyed delivering it. And looking forward to more feedback.
No, thank you again. Thank you not only for your time here, but also for the great effort with this new positioning in this new site. It's a really important chapter in Dynargie's history. So for us, having you was really important. Also for the audience, for you to know, there will be the information of all those providers that were with us in the description. So you already know they can have international projects. So if you're watching in anywhere in the place, you can write to Konstantinos and ask if they can work with your site. But I can tell you, you're going to have a great experience, not only as the final product, but the whole process inside. Again, thank you for your time, Konstantinos. This was a pleasure. And I think everyone is going to enjoy this talk a lot.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
And we are here with Joanna. I will not try to pronounce your last name because here in Mexico it's not a common. But I'm really happy to be here with you, and I would like for you to introduce yourself. Who is Joanna?
Hello, Mike. I'm here from Y Agency in Greece. Thank you for inviting me. I'm project manager at the project of Dynargie website, and we launched your websites together. So we experienced all of the journey along. And I'm very glad that I'm here to discuss this together.
No, I'm happy to have you. As I said, this probably you know it, but this period of the website was a long project that came with some ideas, then they came back, then so seeing it now full on display on the world, and now that we launch it, I'm really happy with the results. So thank you by Dynargie, but also thank you in a personal way, because I was really keen on having an attractive and engaging website, and I think we have it right now. So thank you for that. I would like to explore a little bit on your story with Dynargie. Did you already know Dynargie before this project?
And no, I didn't know it. I've learned everything about energy as a project manager of the project. So literally everything, because I went through all the content, images, text, your team, everything.
So you already know our faces there. If anyone knows, you already know where we at. And what would be one of the things that catch your attention the most about Dynargie? What would it be like? Something you said, oh, this is really particular to them. This is what did you find?
But the thing that got my attention was your approach, the human-centric approach, really, and your tools.
Perfect. Thank you. And now talking a little bit more about the process. How is it bringing something that sometimes is so conceptual? We're talking about the senses in our website, and it's a bit really a concept. How do you make it be a reality in something so, let me say like that, so stiff, like it's code? Like, you have to put all those feelings in something that people are not gonna probably see it the same way as it can be in a text, or in music, or when I'm talking. How do you bring that to life?
So this is a journey, really. It's a life cycle of the project. So there are there are many steps, and we began with a design. So we received a design, and our job was to bring the design to life. And it was a challenging process, because we had to make sure that this vision of the designer had to be pixel perfect, fully functional, and consistent across all countries. And of course, friendly for all users. And remember that the users are not only the visitors of the website, but also you, the teams that uploading the content and managing the back end of the website. This journey was very important to make sure that everything worked perfectly, technically wise, and you helped us to make it.
Thank you for the answer. You mentioned right now something's really important, that it's like the minimum thing we all want in a website, that is that it's functional. So probably that is like part of the job, to be functional. But one thing that I found really challenging is, how do you go from something functional to make it actually alive? Because you can make just a page, and it will function, every button will click, but how do you make it alive? What's like the how how do you do that? Where's the magic there?
Alive in which sense? There is the technical sense, which is the code, but also there is the sense. I mean, the experience of the user, how you envision something that the user will use it, and it will be a journey for the user to stay in your website and stay in your website and don't exit these pages. This is very important in a website, to stay and find attractive the content, the information, and all the elements that you put there, because every single detail in a website is important, from a line to a picture, everything.
No, and for me this was really crucial what you did here, because knowing that our slogan is the human side of business, my head covering here the human side of business podcast, like there's the human part of it. It's really important for us in Dynargie. And normally when you talk about technology, when you talk about sites, when you talk about the internet, you tend to go more into the digital robotic situation, and that's what was one thing that Dynargie didn't want to lose. Like, how do we express the human important of us into the site? And for me, you made it just pristine. So yeah, that was great job there. When was a moment you said like, oh, things are just coming alive? Because I know this process took some time, this process, and as every transformation, because it was also a positioning transformation. Sometimes you think you're already there and you realize you overlook something, and then you have to return. When was like this aha moment when you said, oh, now we are on the right track, we are almost getting there?
Yeah, that moment was when I started to uploading the content, and I saw those fields to be completed and full. So that was the moment that wasn't just an empty website, that full of life and energy, and it embraced the Dynargie. That was the full experience of it. And my favorite one was when I filled the page with your team, the whole Dynargie team.
Perfect. That's nice. And something about what would be one of the things you would say you are most proud of in this process, or in the final result. What do you say, like, oh, that thing I really liked, and maybe something that probably is really important, but us as users, like normal people that will be seeing the website, will overlook, like they will not see that the importance of it, but it was crucial to have it there.
Personally, for me, it was very important the collaboration and coordinating the teams, because it is very challenging to coordinate an international project. And I think we all handle it very well, and we managed to launch the websites on time and to do it perfectly. So for me, it was very fulfilling, this process.
Perfect. What would you say it's the positioning, or what does this site bring us in this new story for us, in this new chapter for Dynargie? How does this site help us? What does it bring us to the table? What do you think?
First of all, a new website means a fresh start. It is very important that. And this site is a unified base for you to grow. It means it allows you to add a new country websites, no limit to that, new content to update without um, be dependent to others, and all of this built in the same system at the same time. So you have and one identity, but at the same time, you are all independent. So you have the website is scalable, is manageable, but your team can take ownership of your content without needing extra development. And that flexibility is very important, and this is a foundation for whatever comes next for you.
No, yeah, and I think that was also uh, something important, because in this new positioning, this new global positioning that has Dynargie, is like, okay, we are all from what, there's one communication that comes from the global, but there's also every independency in each of the countries we have. So this, as you said, was really important, because we are all keeping the structure of what is global, but every country can do a little bit of their own there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and well, one last question was, this is probably more a curiosity question I have, is like, where is how do you find this? Because I'm a consultant also in Dynargie, and I'm really used to giving training, so I'm a lot of the people to people, and you developers are with the computer, seeing numbers, seeing code, seeing where's, like, how do you connect this final result and the pride you get from seeing a website already functioning and already alive, to being hours and hours seeing code, writing code? Where's the, like, the passion there? How do you find it? Just for us to know also a little bit more about yourself. Yeah.
We have passion. Imagine also a team of us, and we create something, and that something is also like our child. And when the child is born, we're like, how beautiful! Let's see it. Yeah.
Nice. Fine. So it's like putting all those efforts together and then saying something. And yeah, I find that quite amusing, because as I said, you write probably a long sentence in code that for us mortals, we see it and we say, like, what does that mean? But then we see it on the live, and we see the images, and we see how it works, and all the dynamism and aliveness of the site. And I now I can understand, but I wanted you to give the answer. But I can understand the pride of seeing something already realized, and especially because coding, we know, as I said, probably you put one period where it wasn't, and that messes up all your code, and then you have to go and return and be really meticulous in everything. So yeah, I really like your job, and I'm really grateful, and I really think that what you did, bringing this concept, because we I lived the whole process since the beginning, where it started like, let's talk about this past website. No, let's talk about the positioning. Are we all correctly positioned? Then let's find a concept, let's find a story, until we arrive to you. And again, for me, seeing all this process, sometimes I was like, okay, we're getting there, but how we're gonna put this into a site? Like, I know I can talk about this, but how do we put it into a site? And since the beginning you enter to the site, for me, the eyes catch you, the way it's the sections are distributed, it makes sense, it tells a story without us having to tell a story. So again, this is a personal, but I think I can talk in the name of the whole network. We're really grateful for your work. We're really thankful, and congratulations, because this success is also part of why, and of Joanna, obviously.
Thank you. I loved working with you.
I'm really glad to hear that. And I don't know if you want to add anything else, something about, I didn't ask you, something of the experience you want to bring, a last message for the audience, whatever you want to say. The mic is all yours.
I want to add that the sky is the limit. Your site is ready to be used from you, and to explore it and use it and add things and expand it. Do it.
Yeah, you can count that we will take advantage of this site. I've been 10 years in Dynargie, and this is like the first time I feel I'm proud of the site. I want to show the customers, so we will be sure of using it, of exploiting it, of making the best of it. And once again, thank you for being in this podcast. Thank you for sharing your experience, your insights with us. We learned a lot, and we also feel proud of the work we did internally to be able to collaborate with you. And thank you. See you soon.
You.
Any final message you would like for our clients to be inspired or to be impacted by our website?
Yeah, I think if they can see that we, um, as a company, as a group of professionals sharing methods, tools, and above everything else, a purpose of progressing, helping others to progress. If they see uh, how do we keep the human side in the center without demonizing the tools, the technologies, and everything else, but in fact actually placing it in the service of human side. If they can take this message from the website, I think we have achieved the first goal of conveying what we have in our heads and in our intentions. Now, the second probably layer of messages, if it gets across, and I hope it does, is how then how to trust because of what we are conveying, and not only the concept but also the content through the content of the website, how to trust us even if they don't know us. This is the ultimate, I think, goal of every communication or marketing direction. If more people can give us opportunity to um, to work together before they meet us, I think this would have achieved its goal. And if we can create this energy and this series of thinking in order to have a dialogue with us and then discover if what they are feeling will become a reality, I think that would have been a very good, successful uh, operation as a whole, right, from the beginning to the end. So hopefully they can see this promise without speaking to humans, but in fact they are, because if they visit the website, they will, without us speaking to each other at that moment, we do speak to each other through the images, through the videos, through the text, through the structure of the website and the experience. We are speaking to them. We are telling them a story that they could trust, at least initially, enough to start dialoguing with our different offices and professionals around the world.
Well, George, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for so much also for the effort being from me from inside of Dynargie. Thank you for the website. And yeah, I do believe we have now a solid website that, as you said, speaks by itself. And I invite everyone to go visit it and even tell us what they think. Feedback is we're open to feedback. And thank you once again.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for the excellent questions. Thank you.